Thanking us for not letting it rain today. That may be the last applause I get, but thank you. As we stand here today, I'm honored to be your county administrator. As you know, over the past couple of years, it's been extremely tough on all of us. The county has had double-digit unemployment the last several years. Our unemployment rates are higher than anybody in any place in the state of Florida, the nation. And mostly because our economy was built on home building. One of the things that we are trying to do, I'll talk a little bit more about it later, is trying to change our business model so that home building is not always the engine that makes or breaks this community. Over the time, many of us have had to adjust our budgets. Also, like the Pasco County Board of County Commissioners, staff has had to adjust theirs. Difficult time to be a public employee. In spite of the recession, the difficulties we have experienced over the past few years, we have survived. In many ways, we have flourished. To those residents, this was kind of surprising to me when staff worked up the statistic for me that we are the second largest jurisdiction in the Tampa Bay region and the 5th largest in the state. Now, you really don't think that way about Pasco County, but because most of the population lives in the county, we supply a lot of services that cities do. It makes us larger than a lot of metropolitan areas in the state. Over the years, we've seen a lot of extra growth in the county. During the boom, we had about 20,000 people a year moving into the county. And I want to thank you for being able to put up with all of that stress in your lives. The utilities department, the building department, every department that dealt with new construction. Those were extremely rough times, and I want to thank you for keeping up. The slowdown in the growth happened in 2007 and allowed us to catch our breath and reassess where we were going as a county. Amendment 1, as we all know, and declining property values started in 2008. This caused us to look at ways to reduce our operating costs. We did that through LEAP. The Board of County Commissioners came together and adopted a strategic plan in 2009 to help chart our costs to recovery. As we have discussed over the past 2 years with you in small groups, we're making tremendous progress in meeting those goals. The vision that the Board of County Commissioners developed was a strategic plan for Pasco County to be Florida's premier county for balanced economic growth, environmental sustainability, and first-class service. After a couple years, that ought to be kind of ingrained into your head and your program. The board also identified 6 strategic objectives to achieve this vision, in which we have made significant progress. Our first economic objective was to create jobs and economic development. Even though we have experienced a falling property values in 4 years, there is reason for hope. Raymond James Financial recently announced they'll be moving offices into Wiregrass, which will lead to the creation of approximately 1,200 new jobs. We are hopeful that the 2 major financial firms, Raymond James and T. Rowe Price, moving to Pasco will cause other communities to move, and this should be just the beginning for job creation. 2 firms located in direct response to the Board of County Commissioners focus on bringing opportunities home. The board The board continued to set aside money for economic incentives, as these types of companies, even while making tough decisions regarding the budget and cutting the level of service, these incentives are critical for our ability to create and complete our job growth. We need jobs in order to change our economy from one based on residential to more business activities. By diversifying our property tax revenues, we will not be accessible to housing values and losses in the future. Fortunately, this has meant tightening our belts now while we are investing in the future. I know many of you have concerns when you read about these incentives and impact on our budget. Probably ask yourself, we could have used that money to give employee raises.
Yeah. There you go.
I think you know that it is important that these incentives for Raymond James are spread out over 17 years. The estimated cost of the county on an average is $320,000 per year, starting 2014. However, even after you deduct the cost of the incentives, the net result of bringing companies like Raymond James to Pasco County is an additional $4.3 million in county property tax. This is just one example of how our county tax rolls will benefit from investing in our future and economic development. The second strategic alternative was financial sustainability. You know, the budget was adopted on September the 20th. The board kept the millage rate the same. Even though property values have declined 2% over last year, with a loss of approximately $3.2 million in property tax revenue. Unfortunately, this is the fourth year of budget cutting, resulted in an additional 15 team members being subject to layoffs. We did have vacancies in some positions, and 4 of those team members have already found an additional position with the county. Sadly, this means we were not able to give pay raises again this year. A pay raise of 3% would have cost approximately $3.3 million. When you include utilities, it'd be 4.6. And that is exactly the amount of money that we lost this year in property tax value. As you know, we are all now required to pay 3% toward our pensions. The reduction in the pension cost resulted in a savings to the county of $5.6 million. The board used these funds to maintain levels of service and reduce cuts and layoffs we would have had to make this year. Unfortunately, the state has projected the county's payment to our pensions will go back up next year. This means the one-time savings that we had could not be used for pay raises. We are hopeful that the financially conservative approach taken by the board, along with new job growth promised from some of our new business partners, will begin the diversification of our economy and allow our property values to stabilize over the next year or so. The third objective was to focus on growth management, in which we have made tremendous progress in changing our approach to growth. The board adopted market areas and urban service areas in Pasco County, which will direct new growth along the US 19 corridor and the 54-56 corridor. This means instead of continuing to allow Richard Gehring, our growth management director, refers to as peanut butter urban sprawl, we will target new growth along the 54 corridor. We will provide investments for businesses to build in those areas. Those investments would be in offices, industrial, and other employment-creating opportunities. The board also adopted a mobility fee. Mobility fee will charge the way development pays for transportation improvements and encourage industrial and and office job growth in the urban area along 54, 56, US 19. Pasco County also received the first One Bay Award, Pasco County Regional Planning Council for smart growth planning, providing efforts that have been underway. Additionally, staff has spent time reviewing the development review and permitting process, simplifying the land development code to ensure that we are ready to process new business development applications as the economy improves. The reason for this is to become more business friendly, so we can continue to bring businesses into Pasco County, to try to level the tax base once again, so we will not be so dependent on housing. One of the key results of our strategic plan is to find other sources of revenue for the improvements. Right now, we do not use property taxes for transportation. At this time, we rely mostly on impact fees, sales tax, and gas. In the future, the board will use 1/3 of the countywide property tax growth to help pay for the needed transportation improvements and transit operations. The county has also obtained federal grant funds to begin operating a new bus route along State Road 54, connecting Pasco to Wesley Chapel. This route is the first step in creating transportation options for residents and businesses along the corridor. Fifth objective was environmental protection. We have added over 600 acres to the inventory of preserved lands this past year. We are ahead of our goal, trying to preserve 250 acres per year. We have purchased a total of 2,025 acres since the Environmental Lands Program began in 2005, using the Penny for Pasco funds that were specifically approved by the voters to preserve land. Facilities management also obtained a $4.2 million energy efficiency community block grant to make improvements in county buildings to save energy. The facility staff chose to implement the grant in-house to allow more funds to be spent on projects instead of consultants. We anticipate an annual savings of approximately $450,000 or more a year once the projects have been installed. The county also constructed the Fasano Hurricane Shelter. State and federal grants to be LEED certified. LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. This means that LEED buildings cost less to maintain and save on our electric bill. Future administrative utilities building, Land O'Lakes, the IT Data Center proposed for Day City, have also been LEED certified. We have also applied for and received $1 million in federal grant for a countywide brownfields program to help identify polluted sites, develop plans for cleanup, redevelopment of those sites. Finally, the board identified customer service as one of their primary objectives. This goal was extremely difficult. We asked you to improve customer service and customer satisfaction, and at the same time, we're cutting customer service levels. This has been very difficult, and I want to thank you for keeping our service levels above the standard that I would have imagined in these tough economic times. I don't know how we all get grumpy. Well, sometimes our citizens are grumpy. Sometimes they kind of take it out on us. And a lot of times it's easier for us to react grumpy. I tell you, the comments that I have received in my office over the last year and a half, just outstanding. And I really think you ought to give yourselves a round of applause for that. As you know, you have embodied the county's values of respect, integrity, innovation, service excellence, and quality. You have continued to be respectful in your interactions with citizens who are often unhappy or mad when they contact you in the field or in the office. You are honest and ethical in your actions, showing integrity in everything you do. Many of you have participated in pit crews and provided innovative ideas on how your job functions can be performed in a more efficient and effective manner. Even though you have lost coworkers, you have increased your efforts and taken on the additional workload. The citizens have not seen a major decrease in the levels of service as you have continued to demand excellence of yourselves and your teammates. The quality of our work has been maintained and in some instances increased due to your efforts. We have been ongoing a significant culture change over the past several years. We're trying to change from top-down management, Sturmrock and I running the show, one where employees are engaged and empowered to deliver excellent service in the most effective, efficient manner. We have been conducting employee surveys, meeting in small groups with employees. We have tried to improve our communications at every level of the organization. We are committed to continuing this open dialogue. Change is never easy. Progress has been slow. But we're seeing evidence of the change in our many areas of the county. We will continue our positive forward progress on this journey. You probably know many of us are reaching the 30-year mark. We're seeing senior leaders beginning to retire. The leadership team has been involved in developing a succession plan to help ensure that we retain the knowledge of our retiring leaders while we prepare the future leaders to step forward. We plan to implement a world-class supervisor training program through Pasco University in the coming year. We also continue our mentoring program for emerging leaders over the next year to ensure that we have talent and skills available to lead this county into the next decade. We realize that it's sometimes tough to keep a smile on your face, especially at times when morale is often low. Even though we cannot afford pay raises this year, we have asked for suggestions on how to improve morale. We have been implementing some of your suggestions this year. We moved this employee appreciation event to a work day based upon your suggestions. We'll be authorizing deans to be worn every Friday, and we will be performing pit crew evaluations on uniform options. We are authorizing managers to identify affordable continuing education programs. We have a pit crew that's been working on this with significant changes in performance evaluation process. As a result, we're exploring day off for employees that receive and exceed standard evaluation. It has been difficult for years, but you continue to work hard, the service you provide, and you remain dedicated to the county and the citizens we serve. The economic recovery has been slow. You continue to rise to the challenge. I am privileged to lead such an outstanding team of employees. You responded to the call of action, suggested cost savings, and provided us with new initiatives. And continue to focus on the delivery of quality and timely service to our citizens. Thank you for everything you do to make Pasco County a better community to live, work, and play. Just want to tell you, that was pretty long for me to memorize, so I had to read some. But I tell you, I am so grateful that Pasco County has such a great group of employees that go out and serve our citizens every single day. Most of you know I've been here for about 30 years. I can tell you this is probably the most exciting time of my career. I think Pasco County is on the verge of greatness. When you see companies like T. Rowe Price, Raymond James, I don't think they could spell Pasco County 5 years ago. They're now coming here and investing their money. Raymond James, memory serves me right, bought about $1 million worth of entitlements. A million square feet of entitlements and water grants. That is a lot of office space and a lot of jobs coming to this county. Even though right now the economy, our present state of affairs, isn't too hot, but with the advent of these businesses coming, Florida County Commissioner's vision to change our business model from home building to job creation and economic development, and helping me providing me with the incentive try to reach out to our business communities in the Tampa Bay area and try to make them call Pasco County home. And thank you very much. I appreciate it.